Hey everybody, welcome back to the Combo Couch. I'm Fiorella Isabel. I um this is a little bit of a delay. I just wanted to update you guys. We are recuperating. Pasta and Johnny are also recuperating. I tend to feel really good right now, but I just wanted to update you, on the COVID stuff. I mean, I should be getting tested in a couple days, so I should know, but Johnny did get confirmation of that. So, we're taking precautions and being careful and all of that. So, thank you for those of you who have been concerned. But I wanted to discuss what Tulsi Gabbard did and what she has been doing, because I believe she's the only Democrat in Congress with an actual spine and was the only one to actually call out Neera Tanden and subsequently Joe Biden, of course, for picking her for a very important position. And, we've gone over Neera Tanden's record here on the show throughout the years. We've also gone over several of Joe Biden's picks, but it's important that somebody like Tulsi Gabbard, who is of course going out with a punch, right? She's going out kicking and screaming. Unfortunately, she is leaving Congress, which is it's very unfortunate. A lot of people don't like Tulsi on the left, mainly because of a lot of smears and a lot of tactics, and also because she doesn't really box herself as a socialist or an anti-capitalist, which is where I differ with her in many ways. However, where I do like Tulsi and where I do actually tend to agree with her is how she decides on things in a very logical manner, in a manner that is extremely not based on ideology as much as what is happening in the present moment. And she's a very independent thinker. And I think that is how we must be, especially if you're in Congress. And she doesn't go along with the status quo. So I posted this tweet, and I'm pretty blunt sometimes. And I said, I'm glad someone in the Democratic Party has a spine. Everyone else can go to hell, because it's really sad that she's the only person talking about how awful Neera Tanden is. The squad didn't say anything against Neera Tanden. The Bernie Sanders didn't say anything against Neera Tanden. Like, the vast majority of these people haven't said very much. And like I said a few days ago, when Rokfin tried to do it, a lot of people were upset and bashing him for going on Fox. That to me is really, it's not just sad, it's enraging, because more of these people who are supposed representatives and electeds of people should be saying Neera Tanden is vile and should be nowhere near the position she is in. She posted this tweet saying, Neera Tanden thinks that the way to reduce our deficit is to steal oil from countries like Libya to pay us back for bombing them, toppling their government and turning them into a failed state. Joe Biden, is this really the person you want in charge of managing our budget? Right. What gives Neera Tanden the qualifications to manage our budget? I mean, number one. So there's this, here's the exchange, the infamous exchange between Tanden and Faiz Shakir, who also worked for her, of course, and Center for American Progress. So she said, we have a giant deficit. They have a lot of oil. Most Americans would choose not to engage in the world because of that deficit. If we want to continue to engage in the world, gestures like having oil-rich countries partially pay us back doesn't seem crazy to me. Do we prefer cuts to Head Start or WIC or Medicaid? Because we live in a deficit politics, and that's what is happening and what will be happening even more. So there is the proof, right, that Neera Tanden was demanding that the countries we literally bomb, like Libya, the countries that we destroyed, the Libyan slave trade, right? We did that. And she is very boldly and very aggressively demanding that they should pay us. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting, and it's also extremely just arrogant, and it's extremely condescending. It's like American exceptionalism bottled in one in one little nugget right there. And Neera Tanden is exactly representative of that. And this is a part two from the fact that Neera Tanden has been extremely vile and insulting to the progressive movement at every turn. She has maligned Bernie Sanders supporters. She maligned the progressives in general. She maligned anybody that was anti-establishment, including especially Bernie Sanders, who she would be in direct opposition because of her appointment if he becomes the chair of the budget committee. And it just goes to show you that Joe Biden and the administration have zero desire to appease the progressives in any way, shape, or form. And that progressives who were holding their vote for Biden, thinking they were going to get something out of it, completely made a giant mistake and should at the very least recognize that instead of pretending that it didn't happen, because they were saying they were going to mitigate disaster, and that didn't happen. Instead, because you gave them your vote, even though they told you they weren't going to do anything for you, that Biden was going to veto Medicare for all, and that he wasn't going to take into consideration anything like a Green New Deal or anything remotely close to that, that you still gave him your vote, so you have no power. And by doing this, you just literally allowed for somebody like Neera Tanden to be put in, and they're just laughing in your face. The Democratic Party is laughing in your face and mocking you. And Tulsi Gabbard, of course, is the only one calling them out when it comes to Neera Tanden, when it comes to several other things. She also said Neera Tanden's think tank took millions from Wall Street, UAE, and defense contractors. She advocated taking Libya's oil to pay for bonds we destroyed their country with. At OMB, she'll support more costly regime change wars in the military-industrial complex. Senators, I urge a no vote. So here she is urging a no vote because of Neera Tanden's disastrous, dismal takes on foreign policy. She has also supported very right-wing neocon policies in general. And again, this is supposed to be something good for progressives. I mean, the vast majority of progressives, no matter where they fall, are despise Neera Tanden, right? But again, this is like what did you expect, progressives? And again, the same people that were constantly just smearing Tulsi Gabbard in every way, shape, or form are very silent with the fact that she has been the only one that has been calling out Neera Tanden and Joe Biden's pick, and she specifically called them out regarding foreign policy, something that literally most people in Congress absolutely do not touch. 90% of the time, they don't touch anything about Libya, foreign policy, bombing. They don't care because the vast majority of Americans are ignorant on foreign policy, and this is where they can get away. And this is where the Biden administration is going to be far more dangerous in a sense, because it's going to have a cryptic form of neocon foreign policy. It's not going to be as obvious, and the mainstream media won't be talking about it because they love Joe Biden. They want Joe Biden in there. So they're not going to parade his name around like they were doing so with Trump. They're going to show that Joe Biden is doing fine, and they're going to pretend that the foreign policy is better because they're going to be spreading democracy, and they're going to frame it that way, when really it's going to be targeted drone strikes, it's going to be sanctions, it's going to be regime change wars and coups, the same way, if not worse, because we won't know about it, people won't hear about it, and you don't have that orange man bad easy target to look at. So Tulsi Gabbard absolutely recognizes that. Another thing Tulsi Gabbard recognizes that is far more controversial, I think, even than Neera Tanden, especially for the left, because the left is so misinformed on these issues of censorship as well as foreign policy, is her agreeing with Donald Trump on 230. Now, she said, "Real Donald Trump, I fully support you on this. Please don't back down. The freedom and future of our country is at stake." In regards to 230, Donald Trump had said 230, which is a liability shielding gift from the U.S. to big tech, the only companies in America that have it. Corporate welfare is a serious threat to our national security and election integrity. Our country can never be safe and secure if we allow it to stand. I was questioning if I agreed with Trump or not way before Tulsi came out with this, with her response on 2:30. And, I was also looking to see what she would say, but I agreed with Donald Trump from the start. And it's something I can do because I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. I don't have to automatically assume everything he says has to be absolutely awful, even if it's removing troops from Afghanistan or saying that Russiagate is a hoax or, talking about election issues. I don't have to disagree with him just because he's Trump, because I don't have Trump derangement syndrome, right? I look at the issue first, not where the information, if I like the person that the information is coming from. So so I agree with her and Trump on this. 2:30 is awful. Unfortunately, it didn't pass. I mean, they didn't get rid of it. But let's go over why, right? Because it's twisted like this. This is a twist that the neoliberals and the security state, the big tech is framing it this way, right? If you make places like this liable, then for any other people's businesses, they could easily be shut down because of someone else's opinion or comments, and they would be held liable. How would this not destroy free speech? This is so anti-free speech. No, this is not what this is. That is the spin doctoring that we're hearing from the mainstream media. It's funny to me that all these people saying this have never actually given a crap about free speech. The vast majority of people saying this, even on the left, have barely ever said anything about Julian Assange, if at all, have never cared about our civil liberties like censorship, standing against censorship, or the overreach of these Silicon Tech media giants and social media giants, and really don't give a crap or don't understand it. But somehow now they care about free speech. No, this is not what that is. 2:30, although Trump said he would veto it, did fail thus far, would stop social media giants from having this reign and this power hold to control public speech and to approve or disapprove of it. So in other words, 2:30 actually allows a double standard, okay? Because what these companies like Facebook, Twitter, Google, YouTube need to decide is if they are platforms, right? Because right now they're getting protection by both being platforms and being authors. And that's not fair. Why do they have a pass to be both? That's not how it works. So they would get 2:30 protection if they are a platform, but not if they play the quote good censor. So if they're publishers, they can censor you, right? But they don't get the 2:30 protection. If they're platforms, then they can't, but they get the 2:30 protection. So it has to be one or the other. You cannot have both. And that's what's happening with Twitter right now, right? Because right now, they can do whatever it is they want. They can censor you on Twitter, as you've seen. They can take your page down if they feel like you are lying, or if you're spreading misinformation, or if you're saying something about COVID, the elections that they have deemed that's false, even though they don't get fact checked by anybody, even though that's an encroachment of our civil liberties, of our free speech. They're allowed to do that. Why? Why should they be allowed to do that? And it goes directly against free speech. That goes directly against free speech because that's what's been happening. You don't have to like Donald Trump at all, and I don't, or Republicans to understand that 2:30 is a bad thing for free speech and for people, and a good thing for the security state and Silicon Valley, who is becoming a huge part of the security state. Like, Silicon Valley is literally in charge of so many things right now. They have manipulated and determined a lot of our elections. The way they took out the the way they took out the New York Post link on the Hunter Biden story and Burisma, the way they literally censor the president of the United States. If they censor him like that and mock and put every tweet as a lie, even if some of his tweets are lies, people should have the ability to decide that, not Twitter, because they're a platform or they authors. You can't be both. And so the way some progressives and some people on the left are spinning this is completely stupid and wrong. Like, and some of them know what they're doing and others just don't understand. But some of these people are doing this on purpose just because they hate Donald Trump. And this is where I agree with Tulsi. It's like you don't have to like Trump to agree on something that they're doing. Now, you know, Republicans are doing this because now they're feeling the heat from their side. But regardless, 230 was actually bad, and too many people just didn't see that, weren't really understanding what was behind that issue. Smaller businesses, this is the other twisting that they use, aren't going to be targeted because they're actually protected still. They don't fall in this category because, again, they're not big tech giants. If you're a small business, you're not going to lose out on your on being sued by what somebody says, because you're still going to be protected because you're not a tech giant that's trying to like a blog. You're not trying to dictate what people say is or isn't true, so you're protected. So it's bullshit what the spin that some people are doing. So again, I just have to say that we need to be able to have nuance in things and not automatically believe that something is absolutely a lie just because Trump is saying it. I look at what people say. I know when somebody says something that's a lie because I can look it up and I can do the research and I can figure it out. But if you're just going to be lazy, fine, then don't have a fucking opinion on it, because then you sound like a moron. And too many people I've seen on the left have completely just said, accepted that narrative on 230 because Trump said it, so they have to be against Trump. Even though the guy is like super close to leaving office, they still have to react that way. It's really sad, and I'm so sick of this like orange men bad, Trump derangement syndrome situation that got us into this mess in the first place. And like now it's really sad that Tulsi Gabbard is leaving Congress, because she, again, on top of all of that, she was the only one talking about securing our Americans Elections Act long ago, and then she brought up the mail-in ballot harvesting issue that Pasta and I told you would be an issue, and it became an issue. You know, unfortunately for Trump, it became an issue, but it's been an issue for progressives in California, ballot harvesting for a while. We have fought against Democrats here for a while regarding that. And, you know, election fraud is also an issue that, you know, she was bringing up. And then also Julian Assange and Edward Snowden and pardoning whistleblowers. She's the only one with a spine. Nobody else is talking about these issues. Election integrity, the censorship, whistleblowers, and calling out the people like Neera Tanden. Nobody else is doing that in Congress. Why the hell do we have one person doing that? And why the hell is that person now leaving and being replaced by a neoliberal? It's unfortunate, but that's what's going on. And this isn't, you know, I'm a fan of Tulsi, so this is like a whole thing on Tulsi. This is more of like, these are legitimate policy positions that she's pushed forward. These are legitimate concerns she has pushed forward, and she doesn't just talk about it and say, oh, look, I'm going against the Republicans. I hate Republicans. We know, okay, AOC. She's actually literally showing you, right? Like, this is why this is bad with Neera Tanden. This is why this is bad with you know, whistleblowers, with the election issue 230, blah blah blah. She's constantly talked about censorship and a Silicon Valley overreach. She's literally fucking sued Google, for crying out loud. So this is nothing new with Tulsi, but a lot of people were too blinded before by their, you know, I have to stand Bernie, and this is coming from a Sanders supporter for the last 5 years, to actually look at somebody else that was offering what he was missing. And he was missing foreign policy, and she offered, and he was missing the free speech aspect of that. And and you know, she covered it, and too many progressives were just like, no, she's blah, blah, blah. And it's really sad, but like I said before in the last video, the chickens are coming home to roost. This is biting you in the ass. Like, now look who your actual allies are, because we really have very few friends in Congress. And, I don't stand any politician, because at the end of the day, they're politicians. But I mean, at this point, Tulsi is leaving Congress, and she's staying away from politics, it seems, at least for a very little bit. I think she should leave the Democratic Party. I think that would be the best bet for her, to be an independent. And I think, she definitely is more of what we need to unite people, when it comes to understanding the vastness of these issues. And I don't have to be 100% in alignment with her ideology, because I'm not. I'm far to the left of Tulsi, but that doesn't mean I don't value some of these the push she has done, and she follows it through with actions and legislation, not just with Twitter posts or selling $58 sweatshirts for her brand. Just saying. So thanks so much for watching, you guys, and thanks so much for your support. We really do are very thankful for all the support you give us. We have a Patreon, we have a PayPal, they're listed below. And, we also have Rokfin, ROKFIN. They also have tipping on Rokfin. Please go sign up, endorse us, or just sign up for free, and you get to watch the vast majority of our videos that are free. And we're always there, and we're trying to build up that platform, because YouTube is always censoring us, because they have more power than they should. And so we need to call these people out. If we don't have friends in Congress, if one of the last few friends we have is leaving, the outspoken ones, then we have to do it. We have to stop relying on politicians and continue to expose them, blast them, and prepare for direct action, because asking nicely, you will never get power back that way. Thanks for watching, guys. Convo out. Peace.